Enterprise.
And good morning. It is 7:25, and joining us in studio this morning from Oasis Computers, John's back with us. Morning, John.
Good morning, or maybe dark morning.
It is. It feels a little different today.
Yeah,
I know
sure
usually
is.
it's bright and sunny and already
Yeah.
sweating by now, and today it's like, hey, are we still in Southeast New Mexico?
Yeah, I stood outside waiting for the door, and it's like a little cool.
A little bit. So enjoy the change of pace.
But it's
here.
nice.
It is a nice little
Right,
change.
right.
It's nice to get a little respite from the hot and
Right.
heat and everything else, and maybe get to cool off here. But for folks that aren't familiar, John pops in and joins us once a month here, and we talk computers, technology. Of course, if you are in need of computer services, from anywhere to buying a new computer to repairing the one you got, to looking to get one built or upgraded, or if you're needing advice on just any technology-based stuff for, from cutting the cord to stuff like that, John can help you do all that stuff. So.
Yes, we can.
Good deal. So a lot of times, we talk a lot about what comes to you, and it's really a lot of the same. And,
Yes, it
is. At the end of the day, we come in, and every month, we talk about doing this, and but at the end of the day, you're probably out of job if people actually did what you said. I would say out of the job, but you'd have a lot less customer base.
If the stuff would work like it did, and if they wouldn't keep changing it, and if it wouldn't be messing up on you for not necessarily your reason, I maybe have one day of work.
Sure.
Passwords and those things are still the worst.
Yeah.
It seems to get worse. I mean, we went the last 4 times. I've been hammering on passwords. Do not forget them and write them down and make sure you can read them. It is still getting worse. And I am starting to have trouble to keep up with it and do it with it. I help people with it.
Sure.
And now I'm telling them, look over my shoulder. I'll help you make this reset. And in the middle of reset, when you supply a password, you write it down, you do everything, and you type it back in, and then you find it doesn't work. And you go, oh, what now? And that is me doing it, with somebody looking over my shoulder. And I had one, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. The guy had come in the day before and needed to go in his, what was it? Not Facebook.
Twitter or one of these.
Well, his password for his email was lost. And not Amazon. What was the other big outfit?
eBay or
No. The early on big web thing.
Oh, like AOL? Or?
No, you still wrong one. I can't think of it. Well, anyway, so it's
I'm curious.
It'll come to me maybe. The one that was the biggest when the internet started.
Okay. Oh shoot.
It's not big anymore, but been sold several times and whatever.
Yeah. Like Yahoo or
Yahoo. There
Yahoo.
you
Okay.
go. Yahoo.
All right.
So his Yahoo email was messed up, and the amazing thing was Yahoo actually had it said paid help. We called the number, and the answer was that you have tried too many times, and you have to wait till 24 hours
They lock
and
you
try
out.
it again and then do it again. So when he did it, he missed something doing it, whatever it was, I don't know. But so he missed a step, and then he had to try over again, can't do no more. So he said, I need my email now. And the answer from the lady somewhere in far away, hard to understand, was, no, I can't help you. You got to wait 24 hours, so we can't do anything. He asked some more, and he got hung up on.
Wow.
So that was in the store there, and it's like, stop it. This stuff, you have to follow what they say, otherwise you don't get anywhere. So come back tomorrow,
Try
24
again.
hours later, bring everything with you, and we'll try it again. So he came in, we both looked at it, and there was a code that came over. It was in capital letters. I've never had a code come in like that. So he had everything in place. He had the correct phone number, and the code was sent to the phone number. So I started typing it in by holding the shift key down, and we got all done with that. That worked fine. And he said, what about the wives? That's not working right either. So we did that, and this time I decided to hit caps lock because there's 8 characters to type in.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, okay, now supply a password. So instead of me taking caps lock back off, we didn't. So we started typing it in, and I've been in the habit of definitely checking the little eyeball to see what you type, and I hadn't done that. So I got dot, 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 dot. Wait a minute, let me see what I'm typing. Oh, shoot, I'm typing it in caps. See, that's the kind of thing where you go wrong.
Sure, it's that slight misstep.
Yeah, and you got to be so on guard and then understanding what it wants to do. People don't get it, where they need to get the answer, whatever.
You know, this might... I'm not trying to sound like a braggart here, but when we were young and computers were kind of in the infancy here, like one of the things you really like, our first computer in the house was an Apple IIc many moons ago, and in actuality, there wasn't a lot available for you to be doing on it. That's just fun, goof around type things. There was. There wasn't the software and all the stuff that we have today. But I remember back in the days, one of the popular things was you'd get like the computer programming magazines or whatever they're popular, and they would give you like pages and pages of code to put in. And then if you put in all the code correctly, you get to play like Hangman or something afterwards.
Never worked the first time.
I got a feeling that kind of trained us for password technology. Like today, these kids didn't have to do that. They just push buttons and things are there.
No, yes, maybe you're right.
Where we had to be like, wait a minute, is that a colon or a semicolon there? What's going on?
Definitely pay attention.
So I got a feeling that maybe trained us to be a little bit better.
Maybe, but I think where the problem lies is that what you started saying, we had some programs on it and we messed around with it and it wasn't really important. Now it is important.
Sure, yeah.
You have a bill to pay and you can't get in. You need to get your bank account. You need to take action and you get an email in and then you're waiting for the next day for the email to come in and respond to it. Then you can't get into your email.
Right.
And you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And then you have changed your phone with a different phone number and not updated the account.
Yeah.
And then it wants to send a code to the wrong phone number. It's really, I don't know what the word is for it, but amazing how much goes wrong. And it's every week, at least once a week, if not more. And about 60, 70% we get going, and 30% we cannot get going because of that the phone number was changed and whatever. And then you got to realize that the email that you have is free email. There is no help with free. If you go through an email provider, there's many places that where you can buy an email account and they do specifically email.
Sure.
And you can call a company like that. You pay, $10 a month or whatever it is. And then you say, I need help. And then they will verify you because they're making money from you, not from advertising.
You're the customer in that case.
Right, instead of you're being the product being sold. So,
unlike your free Gmail account or whatever it is.
Right, and then the way of noting it down, people have, you've got a couple of papers laying there. Well, people have receipts or something what you have up there, and they scribble up their password in there, and they keep that. Thank God sometimes they keep it because that's why it can make it work again.
Sure.
But you have to go.
Well, you got to delineate, instead of maybe having it in an organized binder or whatever it is,
And then you have password managers, and then, some are paid for, but they don't pay for it no more, and then it goes away. Some are free and not very good, but
that's why sometimes the old notebook's the most reliable. If you keep it intact
and
update it.
And the problem is that when you're in a hurry and you need to do that important thing, whatever that is, so you need to get in your email, and then your email says, well, something happened and you need to update your password. That point, no problem. So you add an exclamation mark to it or something like that, what a lot of people do. But then you don't update your book.
Right.
Because you're in a hurry. You need to do it. I'll update my book later today. Well, a year later, it's like, why does password not work? I wrote it down here.
And you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot.
You want to date it and update that book. That's it. And you don't want to do it when you're in the wrong state of mind, when you get so frustrated with changing the password, because then you can't read your handwriting.
Right.
Write it down on a scrap piece of paper till you got figured out. Log back out, log back in, make sure it works.
Yeah.
Then when you go like, okay, all this works, then write it in good in the password book. The other thing is scratch the old password out and you feel like you're done, so you black it completely out.
Yeah.
And then the next time you have a problem, you say, well, do you know what your old password was? Well, now you scratch that out. You can't read it. So put just a line through it. No good no more, but...
or put the new one underneath and just update it every time you change it.
Right.
Put a date behind
It's
behind
simple
it
enough in a way, but it's something that doesn't work in reality.
It's one of those things that's very simple, but... And sometimes you may never need to access it, but the moment something goes wrong, that's going to make that recovery go from a nightmare to a minor inconvenience, and that's by doing those simple little
you're
things.
going to, where's my book? Where's my information? However you do it.
Yeah.
Where is my whatever? I have nothing. I don't know what.
Yeah.
So...
And then let's be honest, we in the new world of storage where not necessarily things are going on a hard drive on your computer anymore. It's going to a cloud and things like that. That makes even understanding those passwords and things. It's like, everything's in the cloud, but if you can't access your cloud,
you got a problem
then
again.
It might as well be deleted.
It's just like backup. If you don't back up, you got nothing. So if you don't have any password written down, it goes wrong and you don't remember. That's it.
Sure.
So have it in a book or something. Use a password manager. We have said for years, do not use the built-in password saving in Google or in whatever. Well, these days we kind of have changed that, and I'm even using it.
Sure.
If it's asked to save a password, I may not say save it because it does go wrong. My password manager, it's very good. LastPass, what I'm using, but it wants to supply passwords by itself sometimes, and then they don't work. And sometimes you have double passwords that you're not supposed to use, and the password manager says, "You're a double password here. You don't use that." But it works for me because I can remember. I don't even trust the password manager anymore. And then you have a master password for the password manager. If you forget that, you're really out of luck.
Sure.
So at one point, there was no feedback on that. And I noticed the other day when I was checking through it, my phone number is in there. So if I lose my password for my password manager program that's sort of online, it can send me a code to my phone. But I have that password written down in a safe location because I have typed it in wrong. You walk in some morning and you just do it wrong and you go, what's wrong with this? I always done this. And then you realize, what am I doing?
That was a 8 instead of a 6 or whatever.
The more I do this stuff, the more I find out that it's not the computer necessarily. It's the brain. The brain doesn't do right.
And the older we get, the more we absentmindedly do those things.
Well, the problem is really you set up a password. For the next 3 years, it's all good. And then you got a problem.
Right.
And that's why part of the problem is if but you can't change your password every week either. That doesn't work either.
That's too much. You're not efficient for you.
They're
probably.
supposedly working on passwordless entries in one way or another. Different people have been working with different things. Heard another story about it 2 weeks ago, and it's not. Everybody's getting to the point. Well, it's not quite really the right way. Yeah. But it's better than not being able to get into your stuff.
But they've made ways to access things easier, but all of them are still at the end of the day based off a password. Like if you use your facial or thumb or whatever recognition.
The Microsoft, what they're doing is a good example.
Yeah.
You first set up a machine with a local account, meaning you call it John, and then you log in, and it doesn't ask for a password, nothing. As you go along, Microsoft will say, you really need to make a Microsoft account. And people have no idea what that means, but they seem to be forced. You get like cattle guided into that direction. And if you don't pay close attention or you're busy again, you need to get, fine, I'll do it. So they set it up, and then they didn't realize they just made a Microsoft account that has a password. If you ask those folks, do you have a Microsoft account? No. But you can see on the computer, that's a Microsoft account.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
In the past, you were let to do this. Oh, so that password now works, and It's not a problem. You go along a little bit. Microsoft says you need to make a pin. And then you go, well, what pin? What now? And then people go like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's kind of, that's great. So for the next 2 years, you go along with your pin.
Yeah.
And then something happens, like the machine crashes. I had one 2 days ago. The machine had crashed, and we got it up and running again. Static caused that. The static made it. The guy thought machine was gone. It's like, nah, probably not.
Just had a power surge.
Had to pull the battery out, one built-in battery. Had to pull battery out, start it back up, and it all started working again. But you could see that we had to reboot twice, and it was updating its BIOS thing or something like that. When it got done, Windows runs up and says, no, your pin don't work no more. You can't use that because something had changed what the pin relies on. And I said, do you have your Microsoft password? Oh, I don't know that Microsoft. What's your email? Something at Microsoft, at msn.com. You got a Microsoft password. Do you know the password for your email? Yeah, I have that somewhere. It's not right handy, but I do have it. Good, because that will make your machine open up again.
Yeah, that's probably what your password is.
That was the password that he needed to. So type your password in. So he tried to type something in, didn't work, and said, other customer walked in, and I go, think about it. So when I got back to him, he said, yeah, I got it. I had to think about it, but I remembered what it was. So he got in, and then you can set a pin up again. Now, the pin, almost everybody thinks that it is 4 digits and, like 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. But that's not necessarily needed. There's a little check mark underneath where you can say use letters also. So what I have done is I made my pin, because Microsoft forces you eventually to make a pin. I run into that. It's like, no pin. You can't boot up. Make a pin first. Okay, fine. So I made a pin and I deleted it. And then another week later, it said, no, you need to make a pin. Well, fine then. So I used the same pin I use on the phone. And I was really not happy because now it asked for a pin. And it said, I know how everybody else is, and me included. Give it 2 weeks, and I don't know what my password is. Now, I have it written down. I have it somewhere, but still, I'm not comfortable with that.
Now that you're not using it, you tend to forget it. Yeah.
So there's one guy comes in, and he brings a machine in, and he said, well, what's your PIN here? And he says, ABCXYC224. No, sir, that's
that's a password.
That's a password. He said, no, that's my PIN. He was kind of adamant about it. So I said, fine, well, I'll type it in. I'll show him that it doesn't work. So I typed it in, and it worked. And I go like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I should shut up here. So I didn't understand why. So, of course, when he was gone, I
You're like, all right, how do you do that move?
What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Why? And so I made a pin and to see what was all in there. I looked real close and said, if you want to use letters and numbers, put check mark. Oh. At that point, the light comes on, and I go, you know what? My password and PIN are going to be the same. As I made the PIN, I go, oh, I'll bet you when I taped the last thing in and hit enter that it says you can't have your password and PIN the same. But it didn't ever say that. That it is now almost 2 years ago. So I have the password and PIN on every machine the same.
Nice. And you learned it just from another customer having to come in.
Now, the PIN belongs with the machine, the computer.
Sure.
The password belongs with the Microsoft account that lets you log into the computer.
So if you log into a different computer from a different computer.
I have 3 or 4 computers that I use this on. I changed the PIN on one machine because there was an issue that I wasn't quite happy about, and said, let me just change the PIN on this machine. So I changed the password. No, the password had to be changed for the Microsoft account. That's what it was.
Okay.
Something alerted me there may be an issue, and I thought it was baloney. But just in case, I added something to it, exclamation mark, whatever. And then I said, oh, my PIN. I need to update my PIN. So I updated the password on the Microsoft account, the PIN on my main computer, and later, somewhere next day, whatever, I went to my other computer, and I had to re-log into it.
Okay.
And I used the new PIN and didn't let me in. Go, oh, shoot, here we go again. Well, you know what the problem was? The PIN belongs with the computer. So I had to log in with the password. I select the password and type the new password, and it worked fine. Go, wait a minute. Then the PIN, the PIN is per machine. So you have to update the PIN on each machine.
So it's kind of a security to allow who you want to make sure is access to that terminal, not necessarily the software of the Microsoft software.
Yeah, I don't quite see it exactly, but I do get what is going on. Sort of. I'm not sure.
I could see that handy in like a business where multiple people are using multiple computers and they want certain groups. All right, these are yours computers.
In this case, it's your own. So
yeah.
And I haven't had enough time to really read up on it or something, what the thinking is behind
it. But I feel like that's where they're going with it. They're trying to make it so, like, if you're a company or something that has multiple terminals, but you want certain people into here and certain people here.
Right.
Maybe
it's been for years already that with Microsoft's accounts, I can go on your computer. And then, I can do it right now. I can go on your computer, log into my account in either Google's, in Google's world, or in Microsoft, and then I see all my stuff.
Yeah.
So if I
that's the same here with me on mine.
Right. And then in a business where all the computers in a business, if you move your office and you go to Pete's office, and you need your office gets remodeled, so Pete's on vacation.
Right.
You say use Pete's office and you can use his computer too. That way you don't have to move nothing. Then you just go to Pete's office, log in with your account, and then you got all your stuff there.
Yeah.
So.
But and it works in theory pretty good.
If you don't forget the passwords.
Exactly. Remember the difference between the pins and passwords and set them correctly and
we
write it all down.
We keep hammering on this because you said you would have less work. Some weeks it's every day. And it is really sad to see that you can't do it, and then trying to have to explain it. I don't know if it's me or if it's the end user, but I got a new phone number last week.
Yeah.
And my Apple account doesn't let me in, and it sends a message out to this number. Yeah, do you have that? Well, no, I got another one. Well, then you can't get it, right? Well, but can you change the number then? Yes, you can, after you get in.
Yeah.
First, see if somebody, call that number that you had and see if somebody answers and ask them, please, can you give me the code that shows up? Of course, if you just did that, nobody has that number yet.
Sure.
But it's actually a thought I had. Call your old number. Does anybody answer? Then ask them if they please can give the code once you send it.
Not a bad idea.
Well, anything to try to get people's stuff going. It's so heartbreaking that they can't get into it no more.
And people think like there should be a background workaround. It's like, well, yes and no, but if you do that, then you risk the whole reason for having security in the first place.
The problem that it seems to be also is, or the mindset is like, but it's my computer, it's my account. I know it's my account. Yes, you do, but they don't.
Yeah.
You need to prove that you're yours.
Yeah.
Same thing as going up to your house and say, "Oh God, I don't have my key." Hey Pete, you're with me here. Can I use your key from your house?
Yeah.
No. Well, most of the time anyway.
Yeah, unless they get a weird lock situation.
Could happen, but in general, his key will not work on your door. Okay.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. It's just you got to think of it in physics. It's people don't understand or conceptualize that because it's not something tangible.
Right.
It's something it's a concept or it's
and they always mad that I don't use it for much. There's nothing important in it. Yes, but you're part of the whole group, and for some people it's extremely important, and for some people it don't matter at all. If it doesn't matter to you, make a new email account.
Sure.
Well, my old stuff.
Well, and even things that you think aren't important are important. You don't. Cyber crooks are just like any other. They're phishing,
right?
And so
they may just want to use your computer to send out emails to other people that pretend to come from you or something from your computer.
They may use you as the ghost, not so much as they're trying to get into your stuff and steal it.
They also can use computing power and combine it to attack. These denial of service attacks, the way they work is that all infected computers with this particular form of virus, when, I want you to do something as a big outfit, and you say, we don't do that. We're going to shut you down. Yeah, right. Good luck with that. Then they get, 2 million computers all at the same time sending messages out. And the whole system breaks down and says, are you going to pay up now?
Yeah.
It's just ransomware type of thing. Those things happen.
They do. And usually a lot of it can be avoided by just simply making sure your passwords are up to date,
Right.
things like that, being proactive with some of that stuff.
And of course, it's panic when somebody is in your computer. I've seen one last week. Lady calls me and says, "Oh, it's not working." He's like, "Well, you know what? I'm coming back from lunch here in about half an hour. Let me drive by your house, okay, and see what's going on." I walk in the door, and the mouse is moving around like somebody's checking everything out in there. Just keeps it going.
Wow.
How long was it? How long ago did you go? It's about an hour ago. Yeah, and this guy's been in here an hour. I reached back there and pulled the connector for the internet off and said, "Okay, now let's see what the heck's going on."
Yeah.
And it was a phone call or something or an email, and she called the number in it or something like that. Or the person called, "We're from Microsoft. We're going to help you."
Mm.
And just terrible.
Oh, man. Well, hopefully they didn't get much before they...
They didn't get anything because they've been trying some stuff, and she smart enough to call me, but didn't get rid of the guy in the computer.
Right.
Probably didn't know how. Lady's old, is 80 years old
Sure.
too, or something like that. So he was trying to squeeze money out of her somewhat, and I guess in the meantime he was trying to see if he could get in the bank accounts. So when we got it up and going, we tried to get in a bank account and said, "Okay, let me make sure you want to check those." I looked over her thing, and when she typed on the bank account number, she had to manually type in the password. In that case, it was great that it wasn't saved because he couldn't get in because he didn't know it, and she wouldn't tell him, of course.
Good, okay.
So I don't
that
think
was the
anything
saving
happened. I
grace.
don't think she lost anything, but it was kind of weird looking.
Sure. I can imagine. That's scary. And yeah, and like you were talking earlier, people that's an invasion of privacy. That's like into your own personal world. And
that's
why
somebody
people,
walking in your house and looking through all your cabinets and the drawers
it's the
and
same
whatever.
thing. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's unnerving. So
Mm-hmm.
so please, to save all of that, and I wouldn't. And I better restate this to give you the best chance of avoiding that kind of stuff, because you could be perfect and it still happens. It's just the world we live in. But,
yeah, it's easy to make a mistake.
Exactly. So, but just be as proactive, making sure you keep those passwords updated and make sure you have access to them. You know them, write them down.
Right.
And, when you do change them, update immediately and make sure.
The biggest warning is if it contacts you, do not respond. Hang up, stop, whatever. And if it's the bank, I'm pretending to be the bank is calling here. I need to update your information. Hang up. Call the bank with the number you got on your statement and say, "Do you guys need to update my stuff?" And they go, "What?"
Yeah.
You're being hacked, ma'am.
Yep. Absolutely. And
Do not respond to emails, phone calls. They may say whatever they say, but they were Microsoft. No, they're not. I'm Microsoft, okay? Yeah, I'm Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can say that. That doesn't mean I am.
Yeah. And if you question legit, hang up on them. Call the legit one is legit.
Right.
And then
use your number to call back.
Yeah. That's
don't use a number they give you. Well, if you want to double check that we're correct, here's our 800 number. Well, that's not their 800 number.
Yeah. They're just steering you down their path.
Right, of course.
So go in the phone book or look on your billing statement or wherever you got to go to find that information.
Today I had one from the IRS or something. I got $900 refund. I just had to click on this. IRS.gov. And then it said in the email from PeteCrook.com.
Yeah, right. And you're like, oh, okay. And they get really good
at
real making it look legit or real. And it's not. So
it's really bad.
So just be vigilant on your end, and that helps to mitigate as much of that as possible.
And if you need help with it, I'm there to help.
And then if they do get a crack in the armor there and get through, then
just keep in mind it's 8 to 12:30. We've got a bunch of stuff going on and need to get work done and no help.
Good deal. So
and we're managing just fine at the moment with the work that we got.
Good.
As long as we have the afternoon off to get your work done.
Yeah. If you need help, you can always come by Oasis Computers, like John was saying, at 8:30 to 12 there. Come on by. That's when he's doing like the quick service calls. Like you bring your stuff in. If it's a quick fix thing,
I'll try to fix it
he
right
can do
there.
it right there on spot. But if it's something there where you got to crack open the thing and take a look and all that,
Right. And
then
depends on how many people there are.
then what he'll do is he'll hold on to it, working on the afternoon there when he's got
exactly, or
time
go on a service call or whatever.
And then get it back to you the next
Right.
day or whenever.
Most
it's ready.
things go out within no more than 3 days.
Good deal. I imagine all depends too on the COVID world, like everybody else. Supply and demand of parts and things takes things a little longer
It's still
sometimes.
a little weird. The supply, the selling of computers have dropped off some. There for about 2 years, it's been quite up. A lot of help. I think it's evening out where people have their gear in place.
Okay.
And slowly starting to get out in the world again, and don't need it quite as much. But
They're ready to do face-to-face instead of the zooming and all that other stuff.
Right.
So good.
Very good.
If anybody has any questions, give the phone number for
575-625-9141.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to contact me.
Yeah, if you have any questions, like you said, he morning hours are for customer service things, and then in the afternoon he's out doing service calls or taking care
or
of
by special appointment
projects
if I need to talk to you, explain. You know, like a password reset, I may have to call you, may have to set you up to come in the afternoon so we can do this uninterrupted. Because if you get interrupted with it, you start making those mistakes again.
Yep. And by the way, like you said, with house calls, and that's generally like networking issues and things, because a lot of times if you got network, he's got to be on site to see what the network's doing.
We try to have the machine brought in because it saves you money and it makes it easier on me. But if your network's not working, you can't get on the internet, well, you kind of have to go out there to make that work.
They haven't figured out how to...
First, we bring the computer in, and if it works in the store, we try to go out.
Gotcha. That gives you a clue in what direction to lead, basically.
Make sure that the computer's at least working.
Yeah, that's start one, and all right, now we know where to start looking.
Right.
So. Good deal. Well, John, appreciate the visit as always. Appreciate the conversation. We'll see you next month. And
very good.
Folks, if you're needing help, especially now that we're getting into summer and kids are going to be thinking about college and stuff in a couple months, now's the time to maybe start putting your ducks in a row about, if you're going to get them new computers and things to go for college and all that, or set one up for that.
Or maybe a used one.
Yeah, talk to John. He can help you out with all that stuff, too.
Very good.
Good deal. Well, thank you, sir. We'll see you next time. Don't work too hard. And have a great weekend.